What is dysgraphia?
So dysgraphia, another word for that is sloppy handwriting syndrome. A lot of boys get called lazy. It happens with girls as well. Boys just get accused of laziness more than girls. But with dysgraphia, a disorder of writing or graphomotor skills, you have challenges with actually manipulating the pencil, the fine motor muscles, and also the connection between the thoughts up here and what comes down in your hands. So it really impacts school, because a lot of school these days is about writing to show what you know and writing in a fast way on time tests. And just linking to dyslexia, you can have dysgraphia without dyslexia. However, if you have dyslexia, there's a very good chance a child also has dysgraphia.
And can you define dyslexia for us?
So dyslexia, simply put, are challenges with reading in the form of decoding, in reading fluency, can impact reading comprehension, challenges with spelling, challenges with writing. That's the sort of the overarching simplified version. Doing a deeper dive, what we see with dyslexia are also an umbrella pattern of challenges and strengths. So the challenge side is we often see challenges with certain types of memory, rote memory, remembering facts, unrelated facts, remembering capitals, remembering the presidents, remembering the dates of wars and names of generals. We also have challenges in what's called procedural memory, what comes first, second, third, and fourth. Or another way is looking at sequential memory. There's also often challenges in auditory processing, hearing words accurately. You don't always have what's called an APD or auditory processing disorder if you have dyslexia. You often have a weakness, but you also can have an additional auditory processing disorder as well. Sometimes there are visual processing issues associated with dyslexia, so you actually have trouble seeing the letters or the symbols accurately. And when you're learning reading in school with phonics, everyone assumes you're seeing an A, a B, a C the same way every time. But if you have a visual processing issue, sometimes you're not seeing it accurately, or sometimes it's changing. So all of those, also executive functioning challenges, which does overlap with ADHD, to be talked about on another talk. Trouble with time management, with organization, with understanding time. Those are often challenges with dyslexics. Now, if I can move to the strength profile, because often, this is what's so critical with our bright and quirky kids and what we really want to promote. We often talk about what's called the mind strengths, which Brock and Fernette Eide have coined, the authors of the Dyslexic Advantage and the founders of dyslexicadvantage.org, a great website. So think of MIND. M stands for material reasoning, and material reasoning is advanced 3D or spatial reasoning. So dyslexics are known to be able to see things from multiple dimensions, multiple sides. Builders, Lego people, inventors can, dyslexia crosses all fields, but is really heavily represented in architecture, building, engineering. I stands for interconnected reasoning. Interconnected reasoning means, so dyslexics are pattern recognizers. They connect the dots and they see patterns. So dyslexics are known to take all of these different ideas, properties, principles, and put them together for novel solutions. So the dyslexic is always thought of as like, they're the outside the box thinker. How did they come up with that? N stands for narrative reasoning. Dyslexics are often storytellers, either through words or through pictures. And we know there's many famous authors who are dyslexics because they're so amazing with telling stories. Because another thing that dyslexics do is they have trouble often missaying words, finding their words, and they end up talking around words, which is why you often get a lot of context and story with the dyslexic instead of just like giving you like the straight answer. And finally, D stands for dynamic reasoning, which is the ability to take past and present data points and predict future outcomes. 1 in 3 successful entrepreneurs are thought to be dyslexic. And so dyslexics are known to be highly intuitive. And the reason this is important is dyslexics, first of all, intuition is not something that is traditionally taught in our mainstream culture and school, and it's actually a thing. And what's happened in school is that all of a sudden a math problem is not correct unless you can show your work and then write how you've shown your work. And so a lot of 2E kids come to solutions across subjects in an intuitive manner, but they can't always tell you why, and then it often gets negated. So what we need to do is really reinforce intuition as a thing, and we do want to help kids learn to explain their process over time, because when I've talked to a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they said the most difficult part of their job is they see what needs to happen, but if they can't convince their stakeholders, their funders, and their board and their employees where they need to go, they can have the best idea in the world, but no one's going to follow them.